To walk here is to listen as much as it is to see. The sound of the wind moving through these hollow combs, a rustling, creaking percussion, is so distinct it has been designated by the Japanese government as one of the nation's 100 essential soundscapes. This is no accident of nature. The grove is comprised almost entirely of moso bamboo, a species cultivated here since the Heian period, over 1,000 years ago, when court nobles first planted these corridors to adorn their country villas. The result is a landscape that feels both organic and architectural. Each stalk, capable of growing nearly a meter in just 24 hours, shoots skyward to join a canopy that filters the sun into a diffuse, ethereal light. They stand in disciplined rows, a testament to centuries of careful management that has shaped the forest's very structure, reminding us that what appears to be a purely natural wonder is often a long and patient conversation between humanity and the environment, a living work of art still growing towards the sky. Here, at the edge of the Namib-Naukluft National Park, Dune 7 rises from the desert floor, a colossal wave of sand frozen in time. Reaching a height of over 380 meters, its name is a simple geographical marker. It is the seventh dune one would cross traveling inland from the Sachab River. But its substance tells a far grander story. These fine grains of quartz began their epic journey deep in the Kalahari, carried west by the Orange River to the Atlantic. From there, the cold Benguela current pushed them northwards, where prevailing winds have spent 5 million years patiently shepherding them ashore, sculpting these monumental forms. Each particle is coated in a thin layer of iron oxide, a patina of age that lends the dune its fiery, ochre hue at sunrise and sunset. To stand at its base is to comprehend that this is not merely a mountain of sand, but a testament to the immense, slow-motion power of water, wind, and geological time. Here, at the peninsula's final breath, stands El Arco, a natural gateway carved not by man, but by time itself. This is Land's End, or Finisterre, a rugged promontory of golden granite. These formations began their journey some 30 million years ago as molten rock, later thrust upward and relentlessly sculpted by the tireless forces of wind and water. The arch serves as a dramatic demarcation point, a geological fulcrum where two great bodies of water converge. On one side, the turbulent deep blue of the Pacific Ocean crashes against the shore, a stretch aptly named Divorce Beach. Just yards away, through the arch itself, the tranquil turquoise waters of the Sea of Cortez gently lap upon the sands of Lover's Beach. This is more than a landmark. It is a living testament to the planet's slow, powerful artistry, a silent sentinel witnessing the perpetual meeting and parting of worlds. It stands, not as an end, but as a threshold between the raw power of the open ocean and the sheltered cradle of one of the world's most vibrant marine ecosystems. The Serra de Sintra rises from the coastal plains like a geological anomaly, a granite massif that intercepts the damp Atlantic winds to conjure its own distinct microclimate. This perpetual cloak of mist and the resulting verdant, almost subtropical growth is the very reason for Sintra's existence as we know it. Long before Portuguese royalty sought refuge from the summer heat, the Moors recognized the strategic power of these heights, building their formidable castle upon its granite bones around the 9th century. One can still trace how its ancient walls snake around the natural rock outcroppings, a testament to an architecture that adapted to nature rather than dominating it. Nearly 1,000 years later, that same ethereal atmosphere inspired the fantastical turrets of Pina Palace, a 19th century dreamscape painted against the sky. Sintra, then, is not merely a town of palaces. It is a landscape where the very air and stone have dictated the course of history, fostering a unique, centuries-long conversation between human ambition and the wild heart of the mountain. To understand the Lower Omo Valley is to read a story told not in words, but in layers of earth. This remote basin, carved by the relentless flow of the Omo River, is one of the planet's most significant archives of our own origins. Its importance stems from a unique geological collaboration. For over 4 million years, as the Great Rift Valley has torn the continent apart, this basin has collected sediment. Periodically, volcanic eruptions blanketed the floodplain in fine layers of ash, or tuff. Each layer of tuff acts as a time-stamped bookmark, allowing paleoanthropologists to precisely date the hominid fossils sealed between them. This is why the valley holds such an uninterrupted chronicle of our lineage, from Australopithecus to early Homo sapiens. The evidence of this deep past is not hidden away. It is the landscape itself. The river, a sinuous artery of brown water, constantly erodes its banks, exposing this stratified history for all to see. The heat seems to radiate not just from the sun, but from the ground up, as if the immense weight of time is palpable in the still, dry air. Here, the story of humanity is not just an abstract concept. It is etched into every canyon wall and rests beneath every footstep. Many journey here, seeking the quintessential image of Japan, a five-storied pagoda framed by cherry blossoms, with the majestic cone of Mount Fuji commanding the horizon. Yet, what appears to be a scene of timeless antiquity is, in fact, a modern story of remembrance. This is the Chiredo Pagoda, a cenotaph built not centuries ago, but in 1963, to console the spirits of nearly 1,000 local citizens lost in the wars since the late 19th century. The ascent to this viewpoint is a pilgrimage in itself, a climb of almost 400 stone steps that methodically lifts you from the everyday toward a space of quiet contemplation. Here, this man-made tribute to peace is placed in deliberate, perfect alignment with the immense geological permanence of the mountain. It serves as a profound reminder that the most iconic landscapes are rarely just about their beauty. They are about the human history and hope layered upon them. While many know Bogor simply as Kota Hujan, the Rain City, this title belies the profound geological drama that shapes its character. Nestled in a valley at the foot of two commanding volcanoes, Mount Salak and Mount Gede, the city is a natural basin for weather. Here, moisture-rich air, driven from the coast, is forced upwards by the volcanic slopes, a phenomenon known as orographic lift that triggers condensation and near-daily rainfall on over 300 days of the year. This perpetual baptism is the very life force that sustains the legendary Bogor Botanical Gardens, a sprawling emerald heart established over 2 centuries ago. The result is a landscape of impossible green, where ancient trees drip with life and the air itself feels cleansed. It's a climate that once offered a cool respite for Dutch colonial administrators, but has since cultivated something more enduring. A city where the steady rhythm of the rain has become the very pulse of life itself. The path that winds up Mount Inari appears as a single, flowing river of vermilion. Yet it is not one structure, but a corridor formed by an estimated 10,000 torii gates. Since its founding in the early 8th century, the shrine has honored Inari Okami, the Shinto kami of rice, sake, and, crucially for modern Japan, of business. Each gate is a private offering, a tangible prayer for prosperity, donated by an individual or a corporation. Walking this 4-kilometer trail is a hypnotic experience. The dense succession of gates creates a tunnel where sunlight filters through, casting rhythmic shadows on the ancient stone. On the reverse of each gate, black calligraphy marks the donor's name and the date of their offering, a public ledger of faith and fortune. What emerges is not a monument to a single ruler, but a collective testament to centuries of hope, a sacred space built piece by piece, connecting the material world of commerce with the spiritual realm of the To the untrained eye, Bali's terraced rice paddies appear as a breathtaking work of landscape art, sculpted into the volcanic hillsides over generations. But this is no mere aesthetic. This is Subak, a complex, democratic irrigation system dating back to at least the 9th century, a living cultural landscape. Engineered by farmer communities, it meticulously channels water from volcanic lakes and mountain springs through a web of canals and temples, a system so sophisticated it was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Each drop of water is managed not by a central authority, but by collective agreement, a process rooted in the Balinese philosophical concept of Trihita Karana, the essential harmony between the human world, the realm of nature, and the domain of the gods. The water temples at the system's heart are more than places of worship. They are the nerve centers of this ancient, organic computer, ensuring that every farmer receives their share. It's a powerful reminder that here, the sacred and the pragmatic are not separate forces. They are woven together, irrigating not just the fields that feed the island, but the very soul of its enduring culture. To sail the Tasman Sea is to navigate a story written in both water and rock. Named for the 17th century Dutch navigator Abel Tasman, who first charted these imposing waters, its reputation is one of isolation and raw power. Yet beneath the ceaseless motion, below the winds of the roaring forties that whip its surface into a frenzy, lies a secret of continental scale. This is not merely an ocean basin separating two lands, but a thin, liquid veil drawn across the lost continent of Zealandia. An astonishing 94% of this vast landmass is submerged, a ghost continent whose highest, most rugged mountain ranges are all we see, breaking the surface as the islands of New Zealand and New Caledonia. Every cliff face, every shoreline, is therefore not the edge of an island, but the summit of a drowned world. It reframes your entire perspective, realizing that this historical barrier to mariners is, in geological time, the custodian of a land almost half the size of Australia, hidden in plain sight just beneath the keel. Banyuwangi, the sunrise of Java, occupies a position of immense strategic and symbolic importance, the final point of land on this great island, reaching out towards Bali across a narrow, turbulent strait. But its significance runs far deeper than geography. For centuries, this was the heartland of the Blambangan Kingdom, the last Hindu-Buddhist bastion on Java, which fiercely resisted the advance of the Mataram Sultanate until well into the 18th century. This prolonged isolation allowed a unique culture to flourish, a syncretic blend of Javanese courtliness, Balinese Hinduism, and the indigenous traditions of the Ozing people. This history of resilience seems etched into the very landscape. The imposing volcanic cones of Ijen and Raung served not as mere backdrops, but as formidable natural fortresses and sacred anchors for their beliefs. To understand Banyuwangi is to look beyond its modern role as a transit hub. It is to recognize a place where the final chapters of Java's classical history were written in fire and stone, a cultural crucible whose echoes still resonate from the sulfurous depths of its craters to the intricate rhythms of its traditional dance. To truly understand Mont Saint-Michel, one must look beyond its soaring spire, beyond the magnificent silhouette of the abbey that crowns the granite rock, and the golden archangel catching the first and last light of the day. These are but the works of man, breathtaking yet secondary to the elemental force that defines the island's very existence, the tide. Here in this vast bay, where the coastlines of Normandy and Brittany converge, the immense power of the Atlantic funnels into one of Europe's most extreme and visually spectacular tidal systems. Twice each day, the sea performs a miraculous retreat, pulling back for kilometers to reveal a seemingly infinite expanse of rippled sand and shimmering mudflats, only to surge back with a legendary swiftness to reclaim its domain. This relentless natural rhythm creates Scattered across the Pacific's volatile ring of fire, the archipelago of Vanuatu is a testament to the planet's relentless, creative, and destructive power. Across its 83 islands, a population of just over 300,000 people speaks more than 100 distinct indigenous languages, granting Vanuatu the highest linguistic density on Earth. This remarkable cultural mosaic is a direct consequence of the very geology that defines the nation. For millennia, volcanic archways and deep ocean trenches acted as natural barriers, isolating communities and allowing unique traditions and dialects to flourish in the fertile, ash-rich soil. The constant seismic hum beneath your feet and the plumes of smoke from active cones like Mount Yasur are not just geological spectacles. They are the architects of this human landscape. To travel here is to witness a profound dialogue between the land and its people, where every smoldering volcano and secluded cove is not merely a feature of the landscape, but a chapter in a living story of human adaptation and extraordinary diversity. The iconic swirling sands of Hill Inlet are more than just a spectacle of tidal artistry. They are a geological enigma. Composed of 98% pure silica, the sand here is so fine it squeaks underfoot, and so pure it doesn't retain the tropical heat. Its origin remains a subject of scientific debate, with theories suggesting it was carried by ocean currents over millions of years to this specific 7-kilometer stretch. This unique feature sits upon a landscape of even deeper time. The 74 islands of the Whitsundays are not coral cays, but the drowned peaks of a coastal mountain range, submerged by rising seas some 10,000 years ago. For millennia, these waterways were the home of the Ngaro people, whose ancient story is etched into the very rock of these continental remnants. It's a profound reminder that what we see as a pristine paradise is, in fact, a complex tapestry of immense geological forces and one of Australia's oldest human histories. To truly understand Serra da Estrela, one must look for the memory of ice. Though it seems unlikely in modern Portugal, this landscape is a direct inheritance from the last glacial period, some 20,000 years ago. Here, colossal glaciers, reaching thicknesses of up to 300 meters, ground their way through the granite massif with monumental force. This ancient sculpting is most evident in the magnificent Zezere Valley, a perfect textbook example of a U-shaped glacial valley. Its smooth, sweeping sides, a stark contrast to the sharper, river-carved valleys found elsewhere. As the ice retreated, it left behind a unique legacy. Polished rock faces, scattered erratic boulders resting in improbable locations, and the pristine, high-altitude lagoons that now mirror the sky. Reaching an altitude of 1,993 meters, this is not merely Portugal's highest mountain range. It is a geological monument, a testament to a time when immense, slow-moving power shaped the very foundations of this land and the unique life it now supports. The familiar image of the Côte d'Azur is one of serene blue waters, lapping against golden sands. Yet here, between Cannes and Saint Raphael, the coast tells a far older and more violent story. These dramatic, crimson cliffs of the Estoril Massif are not the region's typical limestone but are composed of porphyry, the geological heart of a colossal volcanic range that erupted over 250 million years ago. This ancient rhyolite, a legacy from a time before the Alps had even risen, dictates the very character of the shoreline, carving it into a jagged series of hidden coves and promontories that defy easy settlement. It's a raw, primeval foundation that provides a stark, enduring contrast to the ephemeral glamour of the villas clinging to its slopes. One begins to understand that the true allure of this coast isn't just its cultivated beauty, but this profound dialogue between the fleeting elegance of human history and a landscape forged in fire, long before our time. To truly understand Bandung, one must look not to its streets, but to the mountains that encircle it. This city doesn't just sit in a valley, it occupies the floor of a vast, prehistoric lakebed. Some 25,000 years ago, a cataclysmic eruption of Mount Tangkuban Perahu dammed the Citarum River, submerging this entire plateau under the waters of what geologists call the Great Prehistoric Lake of Bandung. The slow draining of that ancient lake left behind a legacy of incredibly fertile volcanic soil and a unique high-altitude basin. It's this geological cradle that grants the city its famously cool climate, a respite from the tropical heat that first attracted Dutch colonialists and earned it the enduring moniker, Paris van Java, the Paris of Java. Today, as the modern metropolis hums with creative energy, it does so on foundations laid not by man, but by the immense geological forces of fire and water. Every street, every building, rests upon the silent, fertile memory of a long vanished inland sea. Unlike its more ancient counterparts along the Nile, much of the Dendera complex we see today rose during the twilight of pharaonic rule, under the Ptolemies and even Roman emperors like Tiberius. This later construction, and the nearly 2,000 years it spent buried beneath desert sands, is the secret to its astonishing state of preservation. Gazing up inside the main hypostyle hall, you see not faded remnants, but a ceiling of vibrant, celestial blue, so intense it feels as if it were painted only yesterday. It's here, in this temple dedicated to the goddess Hathor, that one finds a plaster cast of the famed Dendera zodiac, the original, now housed in Paris. This wasn't merely decoration. It was a profound synthesis of millennia of Egyptian astronomical knowledge, with emerging Greco-Roman astrological concepts. A final, brilliant attempt to chart the cosmos in stone. Dendera therefore stands apart, not as a monument to a single ruler's power, but as a sacred library of the sky, a testament to a culture in transition. Tonga emerges from the vastness of the Pacific, not as a singular, monolithic landmass, but as a sprawling archipelago of 176 islands, scattered like emerald jewels upon an azure canvas. Each is a testament to the planet's raw, formative power, for this is the volatile Ring of Fire, where the Earth's crust is thin and its subterranean heart beats with a palpable energy. Here, new land is violently born from volcanic fury, rising steaming from the depths, even as older, low-lying coral atolls are slowly, inexorably reclaimed by the patient sea. Yet, amidst this constant geological impermanence, there exists a remarkable and enduring human constant. Tonga stands proudly alone, a unique bastion in Polynesian history as the only kingdom to have never surrendered its sovereignty to a foreign power. It is a nation defined by a lineage of monarchs stretching back over 1,000 years, an unbroken cultural thread woven through a landscape of perpetual creation and dissolution. This very juxtaposition is the essence of the islands, a physical world in constant, dramatic flux, governed by a culture of profound and unbroken continuity. It's a place that reminds us that true strength is not found in rigid resistance. At first glance, the structure appears to be a watchtower, a lone sentinel guarding the plains of Sheikhupura. But Hiran Minar, the Tower of the Antelope, serves a far more poignant purpose. It was commissioned in the early 17th century by the Mughal Emperor Jahangir, not as a symbol of conquest, but as an act of profound affection, a memorial for his favorite pet antelope, Mansraj. The tower stands beside a vast, man-made water tank, a near-perfect square measuring over 750 feet to a side, with a central causeway leading to an octagonal pavilion. This entire complex was more than a monument. It was an engineered ecosystem, the heart of a royal game reserve where the emperor could hunt. Herein lies the quiet paradox of Hiran Minar, a grand imperial statement born from an intimate, personal loss. It's a rare testament to a ruler's private grief, a place where the hunter chose to immortalize the hunted, forever casting the shadow of a beloved animal across the landscape he once commanded. The first impression of Belitung is often one of elemental simplicity: white sand, turquoise water, and stone. But these are no ordinary stones. The colossal granite boulders that punctuate the coastline are the weathered crowns of a vast, subterranean batholith that cooled deep within the Earth's crust over 200 million years ago, during the Triassic period. Millennia of erosion have stripped away the softer, overlying rock, exposing this ancient geological heart and allowing the wind and sea to sculpt it into the dreamlike formations we see today. This deep history stands in stark contrast to the island's more recent past, where a different kind of excavation took place. For centuries, Belitung was a global center for tin mining, an industry that has left its own indelible mark on the landscape in the form of surreal, bright blue Kowloon lakes, flooded, open-pit mines whose unnatural beauty is a haunting testament to the complex, layered story of an island shaped by both geological time and human ambition. Stretching for over 1,793 kilometers, Portugal's coast is a dramatic frontier, a line drawn not just on a map, but in the very character of the nation. It is a landscape shaped by immense forces, most notably where the unseen dictates the spectacular. Off the coast of Nazaré lies Europe's largest submarine canyon, a colossal chasm plunging to a depth of 5,000 meters, a unique underwater topography that funnels the raw energy of Atlantic swells into the world's most formidable waves. For centuries, this power represented both peril and promise to the fishing communities clinging to its edge. Their steadfast lighthouses, a testament to a long-held respect for the ocean. Today, that same energy draws a new generation of pioneers. This shoreline is more than a simple boundary. It is a dynamic stage where geology, history, and human ambition are locked in a perpetual and awe-inspiring dialogue. From the air, Gwadar presents a striking hammerhead peninsula jutting into the Arabian Sea, a formation so perfect it seems deliberately engineered. Yet, this dramatic geography is a relatively recent phenomenon. For most of its history, this was an island, gradually tethered to the Makran coast by a slender isthmus of sand, known as a tombolo. This geological bridge, built by millennia of patient currents, created two near-perfect, semi-circular bays, the Padi Zir to the east and the Demi Zir to the west. It is upon this fragile, sandy spine that the modern city now stands, its grid-like streets a stark contrast to the organic process that birthed the land itself. Today, this natural deep-water harbor, a gift of ancient geology, is being transformed into the southern fulcrum of the 21st century China-Pakistan economic corridor, a place where the patient work of the earth now meets the impatient hand of global ambition. Borobudur emerges from the morning mist, not merely as a temple, but as a complete cosmological diagram rendered in stone. Assembled in the 9th century from an estimated 2 million blocks of volcanic andesite, it is an architectural wonder, built without a single measure of mortar. Each piece was so meticulously carved, it interlocks perfectly with the next. This is no passive monument, but an active pilgrimage, a three-dimensional mandala meant to guide the faithful. As one circumambulates its galleries, they trace a path past 2,672 relief panels and 504 Buddha statues, a silent narrative leading from the earthly realm of desire at its base towards the formless, nirvanic state represented by the great central stupa. It stands on the Kedu Plain, a stage framed by active volcanoes. Its very substance, born of the same geological fire that shaped this landscape. A testament to a faith so profound, it sought to map the universe using the very earth of its own creation, only to be lost for centuries beneath layers of that same volcanic ash. Of the three Gili Islands, only one bears a name that hints at its fundamental geological secret, Gili Air, which translates from Indonesian as Water Island. This is no mere poetic label. It is the only island in the trio blessed with its own subterranean freshwater sources, a distinction that has shaped its destiny for centuries. This singular advantage allowed for the establishment of the first permanent settlements, long before tourism arrived, as Sasak and Bugis fishermen cultivated the land, planting the dense coconut groves that still define its interior. Today, that history endures in a delicate equilibrium. You see it in the way the sandy tracks, plied by horse-drawn sidamos, weave between generations-old family compounds and chic new dive resorts. Unlike its more boisterous or secluded siblings, Gili Air exists in a state of negotiation, a community rooted in self-sufficiency, now sharing its precious resources. The result is an atmosphere that feels less like a manufactured paradise and more like a living, breathing place. It's a reminder that even in the most idyllic of settings, the character of a land is often drawn from the simple, life-giving truths hidden just beneath the surface. To stand in Hopar Valley is to listen to the earth breathe. This is the geological theater where three great glacial rivers, the Barpu, the Bualter, and the Miar, converge, creating a landscape in a state of constant, gradual transformation. The Bualter Glacier, in particular, is famously restless, a colossal river of ice known to surge forward by as much as 3 feet in a single day. its surface a chaotic sculpture of seracs and crevasses. The constant, audible groan carried on the wind is not merely the sound of shifting ice, but a reminder of this immense power, a timeless dialogue between pressure and gravity. The dark, rocky moraine that blankets the glaciers tells the story of the mountains they have relentlessly ground down over millennia. Here, one comes to understand that Hopar is not merely a place to be seen, but a process to be witnessed, a rare, living exhibition of the patient and formidable forces that continue to sculpt our world.